Today's a dirty dozen, meaning that what are the 12 things that you should never do on a yacht or never take on a yacht? Top 12. Welcome to another Monarch Mondays. So today we're going to do something simple. By the way, this is one of our old models. We built this boat in China, I believe, 15, 18 years ago. So it's an old model. I'm using it only for demo purposes only. By the way, it's a 100-foot boat. Very nice. So, what are the top 12 things you should never take on a yacht? The first one is bananas. Really? Why bananas? Well, it's partly superstition. Sailors believe that bananas bring bad luck. And part of it could be just historical. So, for example, they say if you're a fisherman, they say people who have bananas on their boat never catch a fish. Again, it's superstition. What happened was that if you carry bananas, you'll go so fast that if you put a rod in the water, you will never catch a fish. Or bananas had spiders in it that was, come out and bite the sailors. So whatever it is, it's a bad luck omen to all fishermen. Again, number 12 is just a joke. Number 11, hard suitcases. So a yacht has really delicate interior. And normally when you have a very, there's old suitcases and you go through the yacht, you would scrape, ding, and damage your furniture. For example, on one of our boats, we have a sapele wood with 11 or 12 finishing on it. And you can nick that and it will show really, it show up a lot. So try to carry something soft. If you have a large suitcase, try to hold it in your hand, not just pull it behind you. Or a backpack, don't put it on your back, take it off your back so that it does not damage the furniture or the sconces as you go into a boat. Now, another one is green clothes. Sailors don't want to have anything green on their boat. For some reason, this is a joke. It's nothing really serious, but they don't want you to wear anything green on the boat. Blue, yellow, white are acceptable things. All right, more serious. Black soled shoes, or in general, non-boat shoes. So a boat has very, very beautiful teak, very white or white decks. And what you find is that some material like black shoes or even some sneakers or leather shoes will mark the yacht. So in general, we tell our clients, if you're going to come on a yacht, you come in your socks, barefooted, or you have what's called a boat shoes. And there's some really beautiful boat shoes on the market that can be used. Spray tan or spray screen or spray sunscreen. Everyone, you go on a yacht, you've been in the sun, and what people do, they have a beautiful sunscreen that they spray on. It's also very greasy. And what happens is that when you spray it on your body, and I'll lump this with also lotion, when you spray it, it gets on the sofa, it gets on the furniture, and leave a greasy mark all over. So we tell clients, if you're going to be on a boat, do not bring those spray sunscreen on because they tend to mess up the furniture on a yacht. Number 7 is red wine. I'll add to that also cranberry juice or Hawaiian punch, but most yachts have a very light interior. You have an open pore teak deck, which is wood. You have white carpet, you have white sofas, and a boat moves, and it's really, really damaging to spill red wine on a white wool carpet or a white leather sofa. And so we tell clients you can have wine, but not red wine. And if you do have red wine, have it on the aft deck or somewhere where it won't spill, or in a container that tend to be more safe for having. So number 6 is glass bottles. Imagine this. The kids are running through the boat, they're running up and down, they're jumping off into the water. They go on top and dive off, run around. And the boat is moving, and you have a bottle of wine, white wine that you left on the deck. It falls over, it breaks. Because people tend to be barefooted on a yacht, it increases the chance of injuries. So unless the yacht has specific design areas for bottles, where it's a deep cubby hole, or it's retained, try not to bring any glass bottles on a boat because they tend to fall over, they tend to break, and they're very, very hard to clean, and they could cause damage to your friend or the crew. So glass bottles is another one. All right, another one is loose batteries. People most of the time have appliances that has batteries, and they change batteries. You bring a box of AAA batteries, etc., or double D for your flashlights, and they're old, and you leave them somewhere in a drawer. Well, batteries tend to leak corrosive acid, and corrosive acid on a yacht is not good. We may have a fiberglass yacht, not bad, but I bought that as aluminum or steel, maybe more difficult, so we tend not to recommend having batteries or loose batteries on a boat. And if you do, make sure you account for, you bring on 6 batteries, you take off 6 batteries. Leaving it on a yacht is extremely dangerous and could be even catastrophic. So loose batteries are a no-no on a boat. Number 4 goes with batteries. Appliances that draw heavy current. So when you go shopping for hair dryers, hair blowers, for men, whatever it is, you have different wattage. Some draw a lot of current. Now, on a yacht, we make our own electricity. We have generators, we have batteries. So if one thing is drawing a lot, it is sapping the energy from the yacht, which costs more to operate. So if you're buying appliances, try and buy the most energy efficient or the lowest draw batteries. So when we're doing a yacht and we're doing, say, appliances, or even toaster ovens, or even microwave, we don't go for, a 10 million gigawatt draw, because you have 2 generators providing power for every single thing. At home, you plug it in, you draw more from the grid, and you're fine. On a yacht, there's no grid. This is the grid. You make your own power. So having an appliance that draws a lot of current really affects the yacht's efficiency and the cost to operate. All right, this one you would never think of. Unsecure magnetic items. So I have an Apple Watch, and the Apple Watch has a charger in it. The charger, it's magnetic. My iPad has a magnetic keypad that goes with it. So why on a yacht? Well, we have what's called a compass, and it's a magnetic compass. So if that iPad is close to the magnetic compass, it throws off where north is. So, but a little bit, so there's 2 norths, true north and magnetic north. So if you're sailing using a compass, and I have my magnetic iPad cover close to the magnet, it will change where north is. And so all of a sudden, I'm sailing in the wrong direction, which can be very, very, very bad if I'm not careful. So if anything is magnetic, we try not to have it close to the helm, or better yet, just keep it off the boat. But it's very easy to have something close to the compass. Even your Yeti water bottle that's metal can throw off your magnet. So, but magnets in general, we tend not to have close to a boat. All right, number 2, almost done. Swords and daggers. So you love this nice katana sword that you have framed on your wall. When you went to Japan, you bought this beautiful sword and you have it. It's a weapon. You can sail into a port or get boarded by some coast guards and they say, hey, no swords or weapons in our country. And you might say, well, it's framed on a wall, but it's not. And that leads me to number 1, which goes to number 2, guns. And you might say, well, you know what? I hear on TV that there are pirates all over the world. They're going to attack me, and I'm going to bring my 9mm, my shotgun, or my AR-15 with me. Well, if you want to get your yacht seized, that's the fastest way. You go to Mexico, you go to other countries, they don't have any gun. There's no gun to allow. And your yacht will be seized if they board your yacht and find a weapon, like a gun. Now, I know that America has guns and we have our amendment rights, and that's fine if you're here in the United States. But if you go to another country, they have different laws. And so I don't recommend you bring a gun on a yacht because your yacht can be searched by the country's Coast Guard, and they will ask you when you come into the port, do you have any of these items on your boat? And if you don't declare it, then you just slide to their government, and they find it, you'll be fined, arrested, and your boat will be seized. So now if I'm going to sail towards some country in the Far East or somewhere else and there'll be pirates, that's a different story. But in general, you should never bring a firearm on your boat, because the country that you go to will not may not, they will not allow you to come in their waters with that gun. All right. Now, for one bonus thing we should never bring on a yacht, sort of, is a propane tank. You want to grill on the top deck, it may be okay. And you'll see a lot of people with a sailboat and they have a propane tank inside. It's dangerous. Not just the carbon monoxide, but let me tell you why. Propane is heavier than air. And when you turn on your stove, a bit of propane escapes. And sometimes not all your burners are efficient, so sometimes some propane gas will escape. Now, if you're on top grilling, is the wind blowing, it will go. But most of the time, if you're interior, what happens is a bit of propane gas seeps down. And it goes down into we call it bilge, the bottom of your boat. And over time, that gas builds up, builds up, builds up, until a spark and it blows up. So it's extremely dangerous. And that's why, one reason why most yachts do not have propane tank. Electric grill, electric stove, and all electric. Now, we do have propane tank on our boats. How do we do that? It's really simple. We have an escape valve from the bottom of the cabinet outside. So the lowest point in the cabinet has a hose that goes all the way outside. So any gas that falls down will go outside. Number two, our bilge has a fan that replaces the air constantly. So if a gas does fall down in the bottom of one of our yachts, there's a fan that blows dry air. Why dry? Because the bilge is moist with water. I want it to be dried out. Dry air is pumped all the way through the bottom of the boat and escapes. So if by happenstance some propane gas does fall down in our bilge, that is pumped out within minutes, and it's constant. But in general, you say, I have a boat, I want to do some grilling, I want to have a propane gas inside, I'm going to do this. If it's not designed for that, do not bring it on. Because propane is a lot heavier than air. It will escape a bit of it, but over time, it seeps to the bottom of your boat, and kaboom, it'll blow your boat up. And there are lots and lots and lots of explosions on yachts because of a simple leak that happens over time. You leave the boat at the marina, you have a guy say, hey, go change my oil. He's smoking, you open the engine room, he goes down, ignition. So in general, you should never bring that on a boat unless it is engineered and designed, like our Monarch series, for propane, for that gas, for natural gas, where it can be eliminated constantly, 24/7, it is a leak or any seepage. So again, thanks. I'm with Monarch Yachts, and see you again next Monday for another Monarch Monday.